What's up, guys? Vibes here. You also know me by my first name, Camilo. I'm here to bring you a nice security control deck that we've been here brewing here at the shop. I was able to take down a few locals, the case tournament, as well as the store championship with this list. Well, with some changes here and there. I'm very excited to show you this list. It's a very awesome, very powerful, very frustrating to play against. Before we get into the list, I just want to do a quick little recap of my store championship run. I was able to take it down undefeated. I didn't drop a single game, so I went 2-0 the whole way. Round 1, I played against Were Gururu X. That matchup went 2-0 in my favor. I was able to win game 1 and game 2 by deck out. So very cool and very frustrating. Round 2, I queue into War Grey X, which is actually a really tough matchup because of the Greymon X inheritable line, as well as just BT1 War Grey and Security Plus to just shred through security and not triggering any options. I was able to take that match 2-0 as well. I believe game 1 I won by deck out, and then game 2 I won by actually dealing enough damage. He was actually able to build up a War Grey with 2 BT1 ties, the Greymon, the Metal Greymon X, and he swung for 6 checks, no options, Blitz Omni'd me to clear all of my life, but I was able to restabilize because he didn't lethal me that turn. He left me at 0 life because I had 7. I was able to answer his Omnimon. He didn't have much of a board after that, and I was able to take control of that match and was able to take it. Very tough matchup, very scary deck, but was able to pull through. Round 3, I played against X Antibody, the Uppaman version, and I was able to take that one 2-0 as well. My opponent was playing a very spicy version though. It didn't play any cool boys and any of the purple cards, but he's been having great success with that list, so don't knock it till you try it. And it's a very respectable deck as well. And I was able to take game 1 by doing enough damage, and then game 2 time got called and we weren't finished, so I was able to win that one. And then for my last round, I believe I queued into one of my worst matchups, which is Beelstar. Beelstar, yeah, the big mommy. I was able to take that match 2-0 as well. Game 1 took like 30 minutes. So we weren't. So when we got into game 2, there was not enough time, and I was able to take it. But Avengers Kidman super clutch in that matchup, and I was able to use Chaos Degradation and other cards to fill his security with his big boss monsters. I think I filled his Beelstars in there, some Death X's in there, and I didn't want those Eyes Mons to trigger, so I put them. I put them to 6. I was like, whatever, here, boom. So as long as I didn't want him to get value out of those on deletion effects. So without further ado, let's get this deck profile started. It is a very consistent list. I believe I play like 25 Digimon and Tamers and then 25 option cards. And the deck worked very well. It is deeply inspired by KVN's list from last format. We went ahead and tweaked it up to make it effective for this current big stack meta. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. We'll first start with the eggs. We have here the 4 Uppas. Uppa is really nice because you just get that guaranteed draw when you have 3 or lower health. And it works very well with our only rookie in the deck, Salamon. So we're for sure getting that draw 1 and most likely that recover 1, which is a very nice momentum boost and just filter through our deck. You get a lot of value off this Uppaman. So I really like this Uppaman. I tried the Vixmon originally, but sometimes I'd have to have my Salamon. I had to promote my Salamon, use the option card. It would pass my turn, so I couldn't like get the swing with the Sally, which wasn't that big of a deal, but I don't know. The Uppa just felt a little more clean and a little safer. So we went ahead and ran the 4 Uppas. Very nice. And like I said, the only rookie that we played in the deck was the 4 Salamon. We didn't play any other rookies. The other list that I tested had like the Patamons and the Salamon X's, but it felt like I just kept flooding those in my security, and I was getting really frustrated when I had like 3 or 4 rookies in my life. So I really wanted to lower that, and these 4 Salamons is honestly all I needed. I had one Salamon check for 4 life, because it kept swinging. It just kept hitting Tamers and other option cards, and my opponent didn't want to swing into it. I don't know why, but this guy got in there for 4 checks in one of the games. I think it was on stream, which is freaking hilarious. But yeah, Salamon, super clutch, really good card. It really saved my cheeks a lot of the times when I didn't see my Angel. I had to Hell Scythe my Sally, and sometimes that's just enough. But speaking about the Angel, we have here 4 Magna Angies. This is probably one of the best Digimon in this deck, just because it does so much for you. It recovers you 1, it triggers your, once you have 1 in rotation, like either on the field or in grave, you kind of just swing with him until it goes into your graveyard, and then you Flame Hell Scythe it back and get so much value. And it's just a great card. I don't mind putting my opponent to 4, 5, 6, 7, just because I'm recovering 1, probably putting a bomb in my security, and giving my opponent a bunch of memory, so they're going to build up a giant stack, mostly in raising, and then I go ahead in my turn, when it comes back to me, I'll just drop this Sakuyama Mon, and Sakuya really put in a lot of work this weekend and in those tournaments. Sakuya is just super clutch in halting their lethal turn. They're going to go and try to build that giant nuke in the back, and you just stick one of these, and then now they have to promote, and they won't be able to get those swings in. So if you can answer their Digimon that they promoted with an option card, you effectively just ruin their day. So Sakuyama was super clutch. I even hard played this and put my opponent to 10. It's like, go for it. And they promoted. They did a super giant play where they built like 2 stacks, and then it just went back to me and I cleared their stacks. So Sakuya is super great. I was trying at 3, but I kind of wanted to play some other cards, so I cut it down to 2, and you know what, it worked just fine for me this weekend, but 3 definitely wouldn't hurt. Now for the other level 6s, sorry, we played the 1 Jumon Mon. This card is actually cracked. The retaliation is huge on this card because it helps you get over a big stack by battle if they have like for example a suspended or you can, and Wyvern's Breath, Fly Bullet, those cards don't deal with it. But this card, it could just swing into it, and you know what, I'll take that trade all day. And also the when Digivolving effect to put the 3, to mill 3 and then add any Digimon also came up, because I was able to recycle some cards in specific matchups that I needed multiple of. For example, Avengers Kidman, I was able to recycle some of these to get more value for them and keep stacking my deck in an order that was beneficial for me, and I knew what I was going to recover, knew what I was going to draw, so I set my security to be, and I knew, and I don't know, but it's really effective, very good. The Jumon Mon, very clutch. The Avengers Kidman, also very clutch. Really enjoy these cards. Playing this guy for 0 is so clean, and getting a pop was super effective that whole weekend and on my tournament run. I was originally playing 3, but I cut some out. I had to make room for other Tamers and other option cards because 4 purple sources just wasn't enough. So I had to make some cuts somewhere. And now for our Big Daddy level 7s, we have 2 Death X. Funny story, I was originally playing 3, but 1 I was borrowing from Yadam, and I gave it back to him earlier that week. So the day of the tournament, I'm like, dang, I only have 2 right now, and I didn't want to bother him. So I went ahead and threw in a Crimson mode. And let me tell you, all of these cards right here put in so much work. The Death X, of course, broken, that goes without saying. But the Crimson mode was so clean. I would play Avengers Kidman for free because I had a million options in my graveyard, and so did my opponent. And then I would just pop one of their dudes, then put the Avengers Kid to, the Gallant Mon Crimson to pop their big stack. And if they didn't deal with this card on their next turn, he was going to swing for game because of how late the game already went. He was going to be checking for 2-3 security, and just super effective card. It was able to win me a match against the Beal Star deck because they obviously milled a bunch of their deck, and I was able to Avenge Kid and then drop this, or I think I might have even just hard played this. I don't know. I did a super weird misplay, but it was still able to seal the deal. Very cool. Originally, I had this as a Agu Bond, like this flex spot because of the 3rd Death X. Before I had like as an Agu Bond, then I tried a 3 Death X. And then I was just kind of comfortable putting the Crimson mode for that weekend just to try it out. And believe it or not, it was super effective. But Agu Bond is also pretty nice in this deck as well. But that's it. Yeah, this card goes without saying. It just kind of wins you many games. Oh, quickly, I'll just show you a board that I set up. It's a very simple 2-card board that was able to win me many games, especially against the big stack decks. I would just set up this board right here, where I have Sakuyama Mon and then Death X. So they would go promote, they can't attack that turn because it's a Sakuya, and if they don't summon another Digimon, they just will get deleted. So it forced them to then have to promote, then play another card, they'll pop the weaker card, but then I'll just option card and delete the big stack. And that happened all weekend, even in the case tournament the week before. This combo right here put in so much work, very frustrating to play against, but very, very cool to be on my end, at least. So yeah, very oppressive, very powerful. Yeah, those cards were insanely good all weekend. And now for the Tamers, we go ahead and start off with our memory setter, our double Kari. This card is really nice because it makes our Magna Angies not so hard to, it doesn't feel that bad to hard play it, since I'm going to set my opponent to their 3 anyway, since I could tap her to gain a memory. And also with Salamon is super nice because there was games where I'd have both of these out. I would promote my Salamon, swing, it will get deleted. I draw off Uppa, and then I recover one, tap both of these, and I effectively start my turn at 5 memory, which is huge, especially with comboed with these other Tamers, like the 4 Mimi. 4 Mimi, super clutch in just making my options cost less if I needed to try to give my opponent as few memory as possible. And as well as making my opponent's turns more awkward because they would go ahead and play their Hammer Spark, kind of forgetting about Mimi, and I'm like, oh, tap Mimi or tap multiple Mimis, and it super punishing. So Mimi was awesome. Same goes with the Kari. Kari was really good this weekend as well, just because it's effectively will halt their OTK turn. Let's say they go into their metal, they go to 0, they swing, I tap this, their turn ends, and they got to do maybe 1 or 2 checks. Especially if I combo these and I have multiple on the board, it's just super, super like disruptive. I kind of thought of these cards, they're kind of like these purple cards as like trap cards if you've played Yu-Gi-Oh! Because they're kind of activate on my opponent's turn, and it's like a purple card, and they stay in your back row, and you kind of just tap them, and it was super cool. I really enjoyed playing this lineup of Tamers. Definitely had to increase my purple source count. Originally, the list had just the 4 Mimis last format, and with the popularity of Black War Gray, them just going into Black War Gray and popping like 3 Mimis or like a Kari and a Mimi and losing your purple source, it just felt so bad. So we had to bump up the purple Tamer count just to get that purple source quicker. And if you do queue into Black War Gray, which I did, I'm able to know that like I'm safe. I don't have just my 4 Mimis, and if they pop it, I have to then dig, which this deck doesn't really do a lot of digging. So I had to just increase the counts, and it just worked out super well for me. I definitely enjoyed this Tamer count. I don't think I would play any more or any less. It was just super effective. And one of the best turn 1 plays you have with this deck, if like they force you to go first, is just play one of these purple sources down. So that was just super chilling for the whole weekend. Very effective. And now for the option cards, these were the Big Daddy bomb cards that, you know, everyone fears. We're going to start off with double Wyverns. Wyverns was super effective this whole weekend, just minus 15k, said hello to Blitz Omnimon, all that Greymon X protection, everything. Wyvern's Breath was super clean, super clutch, was even maybe wanting to run 3, but I'm happy with how the deck performed, but definitely a third one wouldn't hurt. Wyvern's Breath was just super clean. Your opponent checks this in security, they're pretty sad. Even against an Alphamon checked this in security, I think in the case tournament, and I DP reduced it because it didn't have the protection, and then it died, I think, to like a Salamon or something, which was hilarious. So Wyvern, super clean, super clutch, definitely enjoyed it. Then for the other yellow removal, we played 3 Edens. Edens was very clutch because it got through armors. And also, believe it or not, sometimes I would just play Edens to draw a card. I know it sounds terrible, but this deck just doesn't draw as many cards. And sometimes you kind of just have to dig for a certain piece. So even clapping a rookie to draw a card and put him back to their 3 memory, is fine sometimes. You know, you don't want to take damage, you want to draw. So this card definitely put in work against armors to make things smaller, and so I could get over that because I had multiple Mimis on board, start my turn at 3. Sometimes I got very like desperate to get over a card. I played Edens to DP reduce it, tap multiple Mimis to keep turn, and then swing over it. And sometimes that's just what needs to be done because, you know, Oryuken is just too thick. But triple Edens, super effective all weekend. Really happy with the 3 count. I don't think I was missing the 4th at all. And then for our purple removal, we have here triple Fly Bullet. Fly Bullet was very clean because big stack meta, you know, so Fly Bullet instantly just answers any level 6 or lower. So this helped me. Also, the 7 cost was super clutch because let's say I start my turn at 3 because I have Memory Tamer. I go ahead and play Fly Bullet, tap 1 Mimi to pass them to their 3, and I just deleted their stack. So really good. Also in security, of course, they swing with their Metal Guru X or anything, and you just pop it, and they don't have protection from option cards. So very cool. Fly Bullet was really good. Maybe you could potentially cut 1 for the 3rd Wyverns, but this 7 memory cost was really nice to not have to give my opponent so much memory, but you do need that purple source. Now let's get into the broken cards of the deck. Of course, 4 Flame Hell Scythe. This card goes without saying. This card is just way too good. It does so much for this deck. If you see your Magnus early, you're happy because you know your Flame Hell Scythes are gonna just be giving you so much advantage. You can play a Flame Hell Scythe, tap some Mimis to reduce its or to gain some memory after playing it, tap some Karis because you recover 1 off the Ange. And so sometimes this card be coming down for 2 memory, sometimes even free. It was just super powerful all weekend in security, in my hand. Whenever, even if I had flooded with these in my hand, it helped me even push for lethal because I would go Flame Hell Scythe, tap some Karis and Mimis to summon Magna Ange, DP reduce something by 6k, recover 1, summon Body. Then I would play a second one to finish off the big stack by minusing it, summoning another Angemon, and then I had 2 dudes on board that were going to pressure lethal. So this card just goes without saying. It is insanely broken, super good, and that's why we increased the purple tamer count, is because we want this to be live always. Same goes for the big boss removal, Chaos Degradation, Chaos D. You know you be getting super tilted when your opponent checks this, and I mean your opponent be getting tilted when they check this in security. They think they're safe, and then boom, Chaos Degradation. Good night. You don't mind that they recover 1 because you're probably not even going to win by doing damage anyway. And it's super helpful against those matchups where, let's say they have like on deletion effects, or they can like recur it infinite with like Calling for Darkness or something. So you just stick it in their security, put it at the bottom, and you just know you're never going to swing to that point. So it just stays trapped there. I think I put some Beal Stars in security. I put some Death X-Mons in security. This card is just way too good. I super enjoyed it. This A cost, it doesn't matter. As long as your opponent didn't play a Congo, you're having a great time. This card just goes without saying. MVP, it's the only way that we have to answer like a super big boss monster that has like a million like defenses or like anti-deletion effects. This card just kind of gets through everything, and it was just super good. And all the tournaments I've ever played this card in, I was happy. Even when I had 3 in my hand, I was happy. And now we're gonna go to like our utility options. We have here 1 Schwartz Lahartz. I kind of put this in as a troll because I originally was playing like the 3 Death X and the 3 Avengers Kidmons, but I started to cut some and I started to make some changes because I realized like some of my opponents would know that like I only have 1 stack removal, like I just single delete things. So sometimes they would try to flood the board with rookies to try to turn them all sideways and have like a really big turn. And Schwartz says hello. I'm gonna have multiple tamers out. Sometimes I even have like 3 Mimis, 2 Karis, and like the yellow Kari. So that's like 5 sources right there. This card just was a sleeper. No one really expected it, and I think I did hit this in security and I popped 2 things, or even played it from my hand. Even to pop 2 things, it's only cost 6, so it's very cheap and very effective for what it does. But you could totally cut this out, but it did come in clutch. It was kind of like a budget, super budget, watered down version of Death X. So I guess if you're running short on Death Exmon, you could play this card. It kind of will do the same, but it's just there, and it definitely put in work for me, so I didn't regret it at all. And now for more of our utility, like recovery options, of course, the 4 Holy Waves. Holy Wave was just insanely broken all day. There was a moment I think I had 3 of these in my security. And what Holy Waves does is it kind of prevents you from getting lethaled. For example, this deck's weakness would be like getting hybrided out because you pop their things, but you can't interact with their Tamers. But Holy Wave saved my cheeks many times where I had 1 check left and they had double hybrid, but the check was a Holy Wave, so I recovered and I didn't die that turn. So Holy Wave is a blessing. I don't even mind turn 1. Here you go. Well, like let's say I have like my memory tamer and they have their tamer. I just put them back to their 3 and I recover 1. I'm happy with that. This card was super clutch. Really didn't mind throwing it out and giving my opponent memory. It was just super good all weekend. Holy Wave, definitely a 4 of. And of course, the best memory boost card that we have is the Reinforced Memory Boost. This card, I didn't see it as often as I would like, but when I did see it, I made it a priority to just boom, drop it, look at the top 2, put 1 in life, add a card to my hand. Essentially, it gives you so much advantage, and I didn't mind even popping this early, like in a turn that I didn't really need to pop it, just to kind of get like some memory choking or just to try to maximize the play, because Avengers Kidman will just put this back in my deck and I'll make sure I order it to draw this guy early. And I just kept reusing Reinforce, which is pretty nutty. So I definitely, obviously, you know, you got to throw in the 1 copy. And then we play here 2 Blade of the True. There used to be multiple copies, more additional copies, but I kind of removed them for more removal options just because didn't want to die. You know, sometimes Blade of the True and Security will draw you 1 card, which is cool, but like if you're not trying to die, this card doesn't really help you. And there was actually a few games where I would Avenge Kidman when I was playing like multiple copies of this, and I would recover multiple of these in my security, and I would fear of decking out because if my opponent just swung twice, they would hit double Blade of the True. I would draw like 5 cards and deck out. So it rarely happens, but it is something you have to look out for when you do recover these. But when you put these back in your deck or you recover them, it doesn't happen often, but just always make sure that you don't deck out if they hit this in security. And then the last card in the deck is the 1 Calling for Darkness. Calling was awesome all weekend as well to recycle my Death X's, my Jumon Mons, and also sometimes like I would swing with my Avenged Kidman or my Salamon, and well, especially the Salamon, because Salamon doesn't die, and I'm like, damn, I needed to die, and I could just Calling for Darkness. I would tap Mimi to make it free, I recover, then I'll tap my Karis to even gain memory for it, and that would help me delete the Salamon to recover. It also would just add me the Jumon Mon so that I can add back a card that I need, any Digimon. So this card was super clean. Definitely just a 1 of. I don't think you would ever want to resolve 2, especially because of Avenged Kidman. You can recycle these. So very nice. The deck was just super effective. I literally didn't drop any games. I went 2-0 or just 1 game 1 and just, you know, wasn't able to lethal or get lethaled. So it was super effective all weekend. Even in the case tournament, I think I went 5-0 undefeated. I think I might have dropped 1 or 2 games that whole event. So this deck has a super positive win-loss ratio right now. It is definitely frustrating to play against, but I feel like it's a super rewarding deck to play. Some players might not think so, but it's definitely very, very punishing if you mess up. Sometimes, of course, your security will bail you out, but other than that, this deck was super awesome. If you don't want to play a big stack deck, or you know, you don't want to build a nuke in the back and play like what everyone else is playing, this is a very nice counter pick, as long as you don't queue into too many Alphamons that play Congo. But other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed the list. Please give it a try. Let me know how it goes, and keep topping.